We just finished doing the weekly review for the week ending in May 22nd, 2026. We looked at SPY, we looked at the QQQ, we looked at IWM, we looked at bonds, we looked at the dollar, we looked at VIX. Okay. And after we looked at all those things, the indexes are obviously extremely bullish across the board. I would say that the QQQ making new all-time high today is certainly the most bullish, but everything is bullish across the markets. The VIX signal that we looked at is very compressed and warrants your attention very closely going into next week. So that's going to be kind of a big deal, in my opinion. It might break short, and that might be really bullish for stocks. But now more than ever, at least over the last 7 weeks, I would definitely focus on VIX as soon as Tuesday. And then we looked at oil, and oil also has a very tight consolidation pattern. I don't think market bulls, equity bulls, are in trouble until oil closes above 105. And then, of course, if it closes below 95, then I think market bulls are just going to go absolutely wild. So that's kind of the lay of the land here going into next week. We talked about the weekly candles, right? So last week in the videos, we talked about, or I talked about, using last week's high and low as the benchmarks to break above or below that. And as long as it stays within the high or the low of the week, last week, let me zoom in, then we are basically in a trading range. And the trading range, in my opinion, is now defined by last week's high and low, not just on SPY, but on the QQQ as well as the IWM. So for the rest of the video, what I wanted to do is actually jump over here and cover the sheet that has pretty much everything I could possibly look at, right? Because I could look at scans with you guys and I could do it all individually, but this sheet is my source now for pretty much everything. And the cool thing about it is that it has a long-term score right here, long-term percentage. That's factoring in the weekly and the daily scores combined. It has a short-term percentage, which is factoring in the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and the 30-minute combined. And then it looks at the strength of everything and rates it. And it's also showing me squeezes. So as we go through this, notice that the indexes here are extremely bullish. The YM has that daily squeeze, right? So we're going to start maybe constructing some trades here, or at least trade ideas that we could execute as soon as next week. DIA is definitely a top pick here, right? It has the highest score. It has a daily squeeze on the YM. I think DIA to new highs makes a lot of sense. So that would be one thing that I would be looking at. If we then take this idea and we look at the sectors, we have space-related stuff. We have clean tech like solar technology and semiconductors, of course, leading the way. Note that a lot of the sectors here are actually somewhat middling, right? A lot of gray here, but it doesn't really matter because once we scroll down to the major stocks, look at how much green here. I mean, this is just amazing. To see this many 100% is extremely rare, frankly. And the things that are 100% are the most important things, like Apple, Goldman's most important for the Dow, tons of semiconductors, tons of tech. So this is all very, very strong. And one trade that I'm trying to buy in the room is going to be TSM, if I can find it. Now, TSM is kind of way down here, and it does kind of have a weak short-term score. But what I'm trying to do with TSM is actually buy the, or sell, I should say, the 410, 390 put credit spread. And I'm going to do that for June monthly. And I'm trying to get $10 for this trade. So 410, 390 put credit spread, TSM, June monthly, and I'm trying to get 10 for that as soon as next week. Now, as I go through this and I talk to you beautiful people, I see that one question that I would ask, and if you're astute, you should already be asking yourself, is, Sam, you have a plethora of green up here. Why are you messing around with a blue? And that's a good question. That is an extremely good question. I would say that I'm messing around with the blue because it's in a strong sector. It's a leader in that sector. The long-term score is still green, and the short-term score can change pretty quickly, right? And I'm trying to get it on a dip anyway, so it's going to be hard to catch something on a dip that's like dark green and just in the in the stratosphere. But let's do a little bit more work here. Maybe there's something better. So here I see ILMN, high score, tons of squeezes. There's a joke that ILMN stands for I love making nothing. I can't get over the joke, so I'm going to pass. One other one that I'm playing, or I was playing with the folks in the live trading for the indicator, was Amazon. So that's another one that we need to take a look at. So let's do that very quickly and see what Amazon looks like. We did sell it today, but maybe this sets up a reload. I'm going to keep Amazon on the radar. It is kind of, we sold it right here at the 618 today. It is something that I'm interested in, but I think it needs to develop just a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. So let's keep let's kind of go to the top of this sheet and see if we can find something that's uncompromisingly good. This ASML is really good. It's better than Taiwan Semi, which is TSM, which I just told you to the trade. Let's take a look at that one. The only issue that I have with ASML, and it's not really much of an issue, it's not overly liquid. And this one's based on the weekly chart with the weekly squeeze. I mean, look at this weekly chart, guys. What a doll. Okay. So with ASML, I don't actually have a trade actively in the room. I do have an active trade, or at least an open order to buy. On ASML, I think I would like to sell the $1,600 puts. I haven't done this yet, but I'll talk it out with you guys because this one makes more sense, or at least is stronger, I should say, than TSM. So on this one, I think maybe selling the 1,600 puts, maybe doing that 20 wide. So sell the 1,600 put, buy the 1,580 put, and try to get about $10 for that also makes sense to me. And that would be for the June expiration. So hopefully you can follow the thought process here, right? You can see that this really does narrow things. And ideally what I'm looking for is a combination of a very high score, and then I'd like to have some squeezes, right? Squeezes are always very nice to pair with a strong chart. So here's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, we'd be here for a lot longer because I could talk about this for a very long time because I think all of this is very cool. What I'm going to do is actually just kind of scroll very slowly and let you see the scores and let you see the squeezes. And you can kind of look over here and see if there's anything that makes sense to you. Let me actually make this bigger so you can see it better. Okay, so these are the major stocks, and I'm going to scroll and you just see what looks good to you. I saw three things. I saw DIA, that's a long, the Dow. TSM, I told you the trade on that one. And ASML, which I will be trying as soon as Tuesday to buy or sell the put credit spread at 1,600. Now, as I scroll through this, you might note there's a lot of squeezes out there. Some of them aren't particularly high scores, so maybe I'll just keep scrolling, but there's a lot of stuff out there that has huge squeezes. And then just in case the market is not as nice next week, which I think is no longer the case, the market's always nice, then these would be the ones that I'd be looking to short. Something like Uber here looks like a prime short to me, just in case, right? Of course, if the market's strong, no interest in shorts, but it is very nice that I can see something like Uber, daily, 2-day, 3-day squeeze with a poor score. This actually looks like I should be shorting it right now. So I might actually do that here if I can get off the video before the market closes. And then, of course, you have the rest of this down here if you care to look at it. So really, really cool stuff, I think. And it very quickly allowed me to find something that's tradable with you guys. So just kind of covering three ideas that I saw that immediately make sense to me. Of course, you need an up market. In this case, it'll actually be 4. The first idea is going to be Dow DIA long. The second idea, which I actually have an open order for, is TSM put credit spread 410, 390, asking 10 credit. And ASML, same idea, 1600, 1580, asking 10 credit. On Uber, in case the market does decide to do the unthinkable and not go up every day, then Uber here with multiple squeezes and not good scores, looks like a prime candidate for a short. So I might actually have to do that right now. Alrighty, so let's go back here. So this is what everything is looking like. And if you guys are interested in the indicators that I show in this video and everywhere basically at this point, go to simplertrading.com/momentum. I did a webinar on the indicators so you can see exactly how they work, how they print. And I'll go back to something like SPY, which I think is something that we all universally trade, whether it's SPX or SPY. And I'll just finish the video by showing you how everything looks. And you can take a look for yourself and see, if on your end you're seeing the same signals or not. So that is what my chart looks like. Buy signal down here, buy signal here, buy signal here, and buy signal the other day. So again, if you'd like to check it out, simplertrading.com/momentum. Watch the webinar. It was actually a pretty good one. Not to pat myself on the back, but it was a good one. And then you can follow up there. All right, guys. Well, that's my time. Thanks as always. Been a fun week. A couple of the things that we looked at today need to be focused on next week, which is going to be VIX and oil. Aside from that, trade the market that's in front of you. Make sure that you have indicators that are telling you exactly what to do so you don't put your bias in front of the charts. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment. It always does help, especially the comments. If you have anything, that you want to say about the indicators, feel free to drop it down there. And if you don't have anything to say, just let us know what you're having for dinner or your pet's name, and it'll just help us out with the algorithm. All right, guys, that's my time. Thanks as always. See you in the next video. Cheers. Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.